What is up, my friends? Today we're going to be doing a review on the Slate mini mics. What is that model number of that Slate mic? We should probably actually get those out before doing the video, right? That would be professional.
The ML.
Today we're doing a review on the Slate ML-2 mic. Why don't you show the kids what we're going to be talking about today and how we used it on drums to model an assortment of various vintage microphones, and you'll see what they sound like.
Yeah.
What's up? Seth Mosley here with Grammy Winning music producer X O'Connor. Today we're doing a review of the Slate ML-2 mini microphone. Let's check that guy out. It's a small diaphragm. Why don't you just talk about it a little bit? It's got a little switch on it.
Yeah, it's got a little switch. Switches between normal and dynamic. So normal, you got to supply phantom power anyway, but dynamic gives you a little extra headroom for really loud sources. We actually had one of these in the kick. We had them on overheads, rooms, snare top. We had it on the toms. We literally had this on pretty much everything, and it was shocking how good things turned out.
Yeah, why don't we show the kids what we got going on here?
Let's take a dive in here real quick.
All right, so what are we looking at here?
So this is the drum session that we did the other day with a lovely drummer on an amazing kit, which I believe is an old vintage Rogers. And then this snare, I believe, is a DW.
Yeah.
And it turned out incredible. We'll just play you a little bit of it here.
And this is pretty much all the Slate mics.
Yep. I think the hi-hat and snare bottom are the only two that are not Slate mics. Everything else is Slate. Sounds very good. These things are super duper cool. Kick is really punchy, and that's this little guy right here. This little dude inside the kick drum.
So why don't you talk about really quick, how does it model? Like, is it a plug-in or is it does it run it to outer space and then shoot it back down?
It does. Well, that would actually be pretty cool too. But it does not. Yeah, it uses a plug-in. Right here on our insert, we've got the virtual mix rack, the Slate virtual mix rack. And when you buy these, you get a little authorization for a mic package. And this is it right here. So you can see here, if I click on mics, these are all the mics we've got loaded on, and each one of these, like right here, we're using the classic instruments. If I just click right where it says mics, these are all the different models that this particular one can do. And it's really cool because what we did was we recorded the drum kit. The drum kit was actually in the room right behind us, so there was a lot of bleed between the control room and the tracking room. So a lot of times it's hard to get drum sounds when you can hear the live drums being played this way, and the Slate mics actually work out really cool in this instance, because what I did was I just recorded the drums in, and then the drummer got to take a break, and I just looped it like I'll do right now. Just loop a couple bars of this, and I just started to dial in the sounds while playback's looping, because it's just using this zero latency plugin to kind of get all the sounds. I just set the mic pre to where it was good, not clipping, and then I did all the rest in this plugin. So let's just solo up the kick, and literally to get the sound, it just started like this. That's, nothing fancy. I'm gonna bypass all of this stuff real quick. So I'll turn the plugin on. Notice it doesn't change the sound yet because all this stuff's bypassed. And this is just the mic modeler right here. Already you can feel it tighten up, it gets a little more pointed. You can adjust like the proximity effect for it. Right now I've got it pulled back a little bit. If I crank it up, you feel how much more attack there is on there. Pulling this back, it kind of like eases the intensity a little bit. But let me just show you guys some of the other models in here. This is one of the coolest features of this. So for like, all we'll do is I'll just click through a couple of these, like Vintage 57, so it's SM57. I'll just flip through a few. So yeah, we'll just change a couple of the sounds real quick. So we'll start with so this is the one we had loaded up. It's the D12. It's good, punchy, thick, but This is the coolest part. Check this out. Switch it to 57, whole new sound. Hear how thin and kind of bitey it gets. SM7. It's actually pretty cool. It's still got some serious beef to it, but it's got some attack. But it doesn't even need to just be like these dynamic mics. This thing has, how about U67? Some serious low end on there, and who hasn't wanted to just shove a U67 in a kick drum? I mean, come on. But
So is it not like defying physics a little bit? Like, how has Slate managed to create a small diaphragm that accurately emulates a large diaphragm?
That's honestly a great question, and I'm not even sure how they did it. But if you look, I mean, there's venting on the side, so I'm sure it's getting some information from behind. But I don't even know. Whoever made the models for Slate did an amazing job, because these things sound incredible. The one we're using is actually it's called the S Custom, so it's kind of a hybrid of a D12, I think, and it's just their custom sound to it.
Why don't you show us the snare a little bit?
Yeah, hold on, let me just pop these guys on. Let's take a look at this snare. And again, was just able to loop and just kind of dial it in as we went. Let's take a listen to the snare. It's not a bad snare sound at all. And again, I'm just using
is that just raw, or is that...
That's with the plugin, so this is it without. Feel it's kind of dull, just not very exciting. Let me just take the compression and EQ off, just to show you what the mic alone does. Already, it's kind of more in your face. It's a little more, it's got a little more air to it. We'll just add it a little EQ. Already, you can feel more punch, a little more bite at the top, and then just a little bit of compression. And that's just adding to the overall, just a little bit of attack, gives it a little more swell. You can feel a little bit more of the room to it, and then we just threw some verb on it, and the day was done.
So take us to the toms.
Yeah.
Same mics, exact same thing?
Exact same mics, exact same thing. And it's funny.
Are we using these in the... Which switch are we
So
using
all
on the side?
all of these were on normal.
Do you know what the difference is with normal and dynamic?
Dynamic, I believe, is just... It gives you a little more dynamic range. You have a little more headroom. So for really loud sources, I believe, you'd switch this thing to dynamic.
So like guitar amp mics?
Guitar amps, I guess maybe kick drum, but I can tell you that the one in the kick drum's on normal.
Okay.
The toms were super cool. The drummer we had, absolutely amazing. Can we use names?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zorro played drums on this. Amazing drummer, and his just knowledge of how to get drums to sound good is incredible. So it always helps to have a guy like that. But the toms are the coolest thing, because literally there's no extra processing in this. I'm just using the mic model, and it turned out really great. So let's take a look at one of these toms here. And this is no processing. So it's okay. It's kind of dull and flat. Pop this back on, and this is just the 421 model. And just feel how it just comes to life. I mean, it's brighter, but it's still punchy on the bottom end, but it actually sounds like it has character to it. And that's literally just with adding this microphone model to it. Without it, dull, kind of lifeless, not really engaging. That just brings so much more life to the top end of it while keeping that punchy bottom end.
You want to show the floor tom?
Yeah, floor tom. Same exact thing. This is the floor tom channel. Again, just the 421 model. Let me find where he actually hit the floor tom.
What's really cool, too, is it gives you, on the plug-in, a little knob you can move. It's a proximity.
Yeah, I think I was showing that on the kick a little bit. These have got pretty near to it, where it gives it a little bit more presence, a little bit more attack. He barely hit the floor tom in this song, so let's see if this is it. So that's without it, and you can hear how just dull and thin and flabby it is. We just add the model back onto it. And then right there again, top's back, but it's got nice punch at the bottom and actually has character. It doesn't just sound dull and lifeless. And with the proximity, I kept this kind of near because we wanted that punch, but you can pull it back to far. And you hear how kind of the low end goes away. You don't have as much of that proximity effect of the more intensified low end because you're closer to the source.
So talk a little bit about, because we actually used them on, there's a GAC mic.
Yep, the GAC mic. Someone actually asked me what GAC meant the other day. A GAC is just like something jacked up. A lot of times, like back in the day, we would find like a mic that was pretty much broken or something like that and use it as a GAC mic just because it would sound like distorted or messed up or it had some kind of weird filtering to it. Just something that gives you some kind of effect to kind of enhance the sound a little bit. In this case, it was just kind of a super compressed room mic that we actually... The room we have the drums in is attached to a bathroom, and the room is kind of small that the drums are in. So to get a little extra space, we just opened the door to the bathroom, chucked the mic in there on like a really small stand, and just found like an indirect view to the drums. So it's like actually pointing at the glass of the shower door just to get a little reflection back into it. And this turned out really cool.
Do you want to just show the raw first?
Yeah, we'll show the raw. Nothing too special about that, just sounds like it's really far away drums. And this, as you can see, there's a lot of compression on here and a lot of EQ just filtering it out. And now we have punch, we have life, and this is down a good bit. I mean, this is turned down, like, this is minus 27 dB in the mix, so I'll pull it up. And it just gives a lot of space. Like if we play the full mix, let me just turn this back down. Out. You can hear that extra space on the snare and the kick. It just gives it more just energy a little bit. Just gives it.
And what's cool with that is there's literally no mic modeling. It's just the flat.
This is just the flat mic coming in. And the reason that is because that mic actually started as a ride cymbal mic using a Shure SM81. And we were just like, man, this just isn't cutting it. So just in the heat of tracking, it's like, we need a little bit more space. I was actually in the bathroom while Zorro was playing the drums, and it was like, man, this sounds really good in here. So I just pulled down the 81, slapped one of these guys on there, and just pointed it at the shower. And this is kind of what we came up with. It was like, it sounded great already, just a little bit of compression and some filtering to get rid of that top end. And it sounded killer. Absolutely killer. I mean, we used it literally on everything. Overheads. We actually had some of the big ones up there. We had 2 overheads. I'm not sure. We might have a picture or something we can show you guys of it. But we had the big overheads and the little overheads both pointing down. Small overheads turned out really cool too. So we actually had 2 pairs of overheads over there. We had big slates and little slates. These are just the little ones. This is without any of the processing. With it, you can feel it kind of come to life a little bit. It's modeling these cool, 49 old school Neumanns. Just kind of gives it a little bit of personality. These mics actually really blew us away during this entire thing. This is not like, my normal workflow is, mic pre, EQ, compressor, everything prior to Pro Tools. And you just, I don't know, there's a level of comfort when you're doing that every single day. It's like, oh, okay, this, I know how this works, I know how this flows, I know how this feels, I know how this sounds. So to come out here and do this, new studio, drummer we'd never worked with, mics we'd barely ever used, in a room we've never been in, monitors that we don't normally use. It was shocking how easy the workflow was, because like I said, we just recorded the drums and then looped it, and I kind of just dialed in sounds while the drummer was chilling, so he didn't have to sit and play for forever. And it's translated incredibly. And the fact that we didn't have to have tens of thousands of dollars worth of gear, just mic pre's, and you just bring it in. It's got killer mic models, all the like the EQs and compressors in there. Like you guys saw, I was using some 1176s, some Neve style EQs, some SSL style EQs. It all sounds absolutely incredible, and it's all being done with these little guys here.
And how much are they?
These are like $149.
That is
That's shocking.
insane. Steven Slade, if you're watching this, you've done a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
Because this is a game changer for people, especially who want to be recording drums. It is really unbelievable. So
when I first started out, when I was buying gear, versatility was the name of the game in anything that I bought. Like if it was a mic, it had to work for drums, acoustic guitar, vocals, piano, whatever it was, because it was money that I couldn't afford to buy mics for everything individually. This is one of the most versatile pieces ever. And the fact that it comes with an authorization for the virtual mix rack, so you get the plug-in authorization with it, that comes with the mic models for this mic, in addition to all those cool compressors and EQs. I mean, for $149, you can't go wrong, because you could use that. You could use that on vocals. We use them on acoustic guitar. We used them on guitar. You could put it in front of a bass cab. You can literally do anything with it. I was blown away.
So good.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? Hope you loved the video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to our page for more awesome music industry content. If you are interested in getting a publishing deal, a record deal, or having a career in the music business, I've got a free video class for you right here. Click that link down there to get access to it. And if you want to check out another one of my vlogs, click up here.